You've seen the superheroes, haven't you? Flying, super strength, healing in a flash, all very impressive on the big screen. But what if I told you that real-life superpowers exist right here on Earth? And they're frankly a lot weirder. We're talking about powers so scientifically bizarre, they make comic books look a bit unimaginative. From a shrimp that can punch with the force of a bullet to a creature that is, for all intents and purposes, immortal, nature has a few tricks up its sleeve that defy belief. So forget fiction for a bit. Today, we're counting down 5 real animal superpowers that seem utterly impossible. Right then, coming in at number 5, we have an animal that brings one of the most famous superhero abilities to life: regeneration. Now, we've all seen a lizard drop its tail and leg it. But what about a mammal? A creature a bit closer to home, capable of healing in a way that would make Wolverine look like a bit of a slow coach. Meet the African spiny mouse. Found in the arid landscapes of Africa, this unassuming-looking rodent has a truly radical way of escaping trouble. When a predator gets a hold of a spiny mouse, it doesn't just get a bit of fluff. The mouse can shed up to 60% of the skin right off its back to get away. This process is called autotomy, which is a fancy word for dropping a body part. But here's the clever bit. The African spiny mouse doesn't just scab over and form a scar like we would, it regenerates everything, completely. Scientists were absolutely gobsmacked to discover that after losing huge patches of skin, the spiny mouse regrows it all perfectly. New skin, new hair follicles, sweat glands, the lot in the lab. Researchers punched 4mm holes in the mice's ears. In a normal mouse, that would leave a permanent hole. The spiny mouse, however, completely closed the wounds, regenerating every tissue layer until you could barely tell it was ever injured. The secret is in its unique cells. Unlike our bodies, which rush to make scar tissue, the spiny mouse creates something called a blastema, a cluster of regenerative cells, much like a salamander uses to regrow an entire limb. This allows it to heal without a single scar. Just imagine the medical implications if we could figure out how to do that. It's a startling reminder that even in familiar corners of the animal kingdom, there are abilities that are just plain extraordinary. Next up, at number 4, we're plunging into the ocean to meet an animal that packs the most powerful punch on the planet. Forget heavyweight boxers. This little chap delivers a blow with the speed and force of a gunshot. This is the peacock mantis shrimp. Don't be fooled by its dazzling rainbow-coloured shell. This small crustacean, usually only about 6 inches long, is one of the most ferocious predators in the sea. Its superpower is in 2 hammer-like clubs, which it can swing at mind-boggling speeds. The mantis shrimp cocks its arm using an internal spring and latch system, storing up a huge amount of energy. When it lets go, its clubs accelerate faster than a .22 caliber bullet, hitting speeds of 50 miles per hour in a blink. The force of this impact is staggering, about 1,500 newtons, which is more than enough to shatter aquarium glass or obliterate a crab's shell instantly. But that's only half the story. The punch is so fast, it literally boils the water around it, creating a phenomenon called cavitation. Tiny vacuum bubbles form, and when they collapse, they create a second shockwave that produces intense heat and even a flash of light. So even if the shrimp's punch misses, the shockwave alone can stun or kill its target. To stop its own clubs from shattering, the mantis shrimp has evolved a masterpiece of natural engineering. The club is made of multiple layers of super hard ceramic and more flexible materials, a structure so advanced that scientists are studying it to design stronger body armor. This animal isn't just a superhero, it's a living, breathing lesson in physics. For our number 3 spot, we have a superpower that sounds like it was dreamed up for a horror film: the ability to regrow an entire body from just a severed head. If you thought the spiny mouse was impressive, brace yourself for the Elysia sea slug. This small, leaf-shaped slug has a survival plan that is as grim as it is brilliant. When its body gets riddled with parasites, the slug does something truly extreme. It decapitates itself. The head just pops off from the body and crawls away, leaving its heart, digestive system, and all its other bits behind. You'd think that would be the end of it. But for this sea slug, it's a fresh start. The severed head carries on, and within hours, it starts feeding on algae again. The wound on its neck heals in about a day. Then, over the next 3 weeks, the impossible happens. The head regenerates a complete, brand new body, including a fully functioning heart. The old body, by the way, can live for days or even months with its heart still beating, but it can't regrow a head and eventually just decomposes. So how does a head survive for weeks without a stomach or heart? Well, this slug has another trick. It's solar-powered. When it eats algae, it steals the plant's little photosynthesis engines, the chloroplasts, and keeps them running inside its own skin. These stolen parts provide the head with enough energy from sunlight to survive and fuel the regeneration of an entirely new, parasite-free body. It's a brutal but very tidy solution to an infection. Just grow a new body. Easy as that. At an almost unbelievable number, 2 is a creature that can survive just about anywhere, under conditions that would kill almost any other known life form. It can handle the vacuum of space, temperatures from just above absolute zero to well past boiling, and shrug off deadly doses of radiation. This is the tardigrade. Also known as water bears or moss piglets, tardigrades are microscopic, 8-legged animals often called the toughest creatures on Earth. You can find them all over the place, but their real superpower is what they can endure. When things get rough, the tardigrade goes into a state of suspended animation called cryptobiosis. It curls up into a dry, lifeless ball called a tun, and its metabolism slows to less than 0.01% of its normal rate. In this state, tardigrades are famously difficult to kill. They've been chilled to minus 272 degrees Celsius, which is just 1 degree above absolute zero, and heated to over 150 degrees Celsius. They can withstand immense pressures. But most incredibly, they can survive in outer space. In 2007, a European mission took dehydrated tardigrades into orbit and exposed them to the vacuum and intense radiation of space for 10 days. When they were brought back and given a drop of water, many of them revived and even went on to reproduce as if nothing had happened. Scientists believe tardigrades have unique proteins, including one nicknamed the damage suppressor, or DSUP, that shield their DNA from radiation. They also produce a huge amount of antioxidants to protect their cells. The tardigrade is the ultimate survivalist, an animal so indestructible it makes you wonder. But there is one creature that takes the idea of immortality one step further. And now, for the #1 most impossible animal superpower, proper biological immortality. It's one thing to be tough, but it's another thing entirely to turn back the clock and sidestep death from old age meet Teratopsis dohrnii, better known as the immortal jellyfish. This tiny jellyfish, no bigger than your pinky nail, has found a rather clever loophole in the whole getting old and dying business. Its life cycle starts out normally enough for a jellyfish. An egg grows into a larva, which settles on the seafloor and becomes a polyp colony. These polyps then bud off, releasing genetically identical jellyfish. These jellyfish grow up, reproduce, and, like every other animal, are supposed to get old and die. But Teratopsis dohrnii doesn't. When it's faced with stress, injury, starvation, or just old age, this jellyfish can do something unique. It can reverse its life cycle. The adult jellyfish sinks, its body folds back in on itself, and it reverts to a blob of cells, eventually forming a new polyp. This new polyp then buds off new, genetically identical jellyfish. It has, in essence, been born again. This process is called transdifferentiation, where adult cells can change into completely different types of cells, basically hitting the reset button on aging. Theoretically, this cycle can go on forever, making the jellyfish biologically immortal. Now, they can still be eaten or die from disease, but they don't die from getting old. Scientists are now studying this jellyfish's genome, hoping to unlock the secret of this cellular reset, which could have mind-bending implications for human medicine. It's the ultimate superpower, not just healing, but the ability to cheat death itself. So there you have it. From mammals that regrow their own skin, to shrimp that punch with the power of an explosion, nature is filled with abilities that are frankly stranger than fiction. These 5 animals prove you don't need to look at the cinema to find superheroes. They're all around us, pushing the absolute limits of what we thought was possible. What do you think? Which of these has completely scrambled your noodle the most? Or do you know of another incredible animal ability that we missed? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this little trip into the impossible, do be sure to like and subscribe for more dives into the weird and wonderful. Thanks for watching.